Hello and welcome to ITNs. So I hope you guys are watching all these videos, right? And you're learning quite a few things on Azure, right? I'm actually getting a lot of things that, they're enjoying the videos. But one request is, if you're enjoying the videos, right, please go ahead and subscribe on the channel, right? And then you can click on the bell icon to get the real-time updates whenever the videos are getting uploaded. And also, if you're liking the videos, click on the like button and feel free to share the videos to your friends and colleagues. Alright, great. So in this session, we are going to talk about the another storage area of Azure. Right. So we have discussed about Azure Blob, we have discussed about managed disks, and in the last session we saw about how we are going to add managed disks on a Windows machine, right? Now, in this session, what we are going to do is we are going to talk about the another type, that is Azure file storage, right? So we are going to see how what are the advantages of the file storage that Azure provides, and also we are going to walk through some of the use cases, right? It's almost same to what we have with the Azure Blob, but yeah, both are the file storage service, but it's quite different. Blob has the a particular use case, whereas file storage has a particular use case, right? So we're going to walk through those information, and that's how you can actually architect your solution for your requirement, right? Great. I'll see you in the session then. Thank you. Welcome back to ITNs. So in this session, we are going to look at Azure Files, right? As we have seen in the earlier sessions, there are different types of storage options that are provided in Azure, and we have covered about the managed disks and about Blob. Now in this session, we are going to talk about Azure Files. All right, let's go right in. All right, so Azure Files. So it's secure. That means you don't have to worry about the data encryption. Data is encrypted at rest and in transit using SMB 3.0 and HTTPS protocols. It's easily managed, so you deploy file shares without having to manage hardware or operating system deployments, letting you focus on your users instead. So you don't have to worry about the high availability and all. It's all taken care by the Azure. Smart, you can quickly access your files over high latency, low bandwidth links via smart caching and commonly used on-prem files using Azure File Sync. So yeah, built for hybrid flexibility. So access your data when from wherever you want to using SMB, REST, or even on-prem with Azure File Sync. Cross-platform support. So mount your Azure file shares from Windows, Linux, or Mac OS, be it on-prem or cloud. It doesn't matter. So you can mount a file storage on the on-prem on Windows, and you will find the same data on the Linux on the cloud, or vice versa. So it has cross-platform support. Harmonious. Easy to migrate, so you can migrate file share dependent applications to the cloud without breaking existing code. So that is a good advantage about the Azure file storage. Right, now let's talk about the Azure file storage in a brief. Okay, so Azure file storage offers fully managed file shares in cloud that are accessible via industry standard using SMB protocol. Alright, Azure file shares can be mounted concurrently by both on-prem and cloud machines of Windows, Linux, and Mac. It doesn't matter. Can be cached on Windows Server with Azure File Sync service for faster access. Applications can mount a file storage share to access file data, just as a desktop application would mount a typical SMB store, right? So some of the use cases for Azure file storage here, yeah. So you can replace or supplement on-prem file shares. So Azure files can be used to completely replace or supplement traditional on-prem file servers or NAS devices. Yeah, you don't have to spend about the costing for that, right? You can actually utilize them on the cloud. So you can have the popular operating systems such as Windows, Mac OS, and Linux can directly mount Azure file shares wherever they are in the world. Right? Azure file shares can be replicated with Azure File Sync to Windows servers, either on-prem or in cloud. And so Azure file shares can continue to work with AD hosted on-prem for access control. So you can have the security in place, right? So lift and shift applications. So Azure files make it easy to lift and ship applications to the cloud that expect a file share to store the application for user data, right? So Azure Files enables both the classic lift and shift scenario where both the applications and its data are moved into Azure, and the hybrid lift and shift scenario where the application data is moved to Azure Files and the application continues to run on-prem, right? Simplify cloud development, right? So Azure Files can be used in numerous ways to simplify new cloud development projects. For example, shared application settings. So a common platform for distributing application is to have configuration files in the centralized location where they can be accessed from many application instances. Application instances can load their configuration through the File REST API, and humans can access them as needed by mounting the SMB share locally, right? Diagnostic share. An Azure file share is a convenient place for cloud applications to write their logs, metrics, and crash dumps. Logs can be written by the application instance via the File REST API, and developers can access them by mounting the file share on their local machine. This enables greater flexibility as developers can embrace cloud development without having to abandon any existing tooling they know and love. All right. Next one is dev, test, and debug. So when developers or administrators are working on VMs in the cloud, they often need to set up tools or utilities, right? Such as for copying such utilities and tools to each VMs can be a time-consuming exercise, right? By mounting the Azure file share locally on the VMs, a developer or an admin can quickly access the tools and utilities. So instead of copying across the network to the different file shares, it becomes very convenient in that way, right? So always on file share. So Azure takes care of hardware and software updates without causing any downtime, right? Automate work using scripting such as Azure CLI and PowerShell command lines. So you can actually automate your work and that can be used to, for example, to mount the file storage on the server, and it will replicate the data to the across the other server, which is going to use the same file storage, right? All right. So let's talk about some of the benefits about file storage here, right? So one of the benefit is shared access, where Azure file shares support the industry standard SMB protocol, right? We all know that, right? So what does that mean? I mean, it means you can seamlessly replace your on-prem file shares and Azure file shares without worrying about application compatibility. Being able to share a file system across multiple machines, applications, instances is a significant advantage with Azure file storage for applications that need shareability, right? fully managed. Azure file shares can be created without the need to manage hardware or an OS. This means you don't have to deal with patching the server or replacing faulty hard disks. That is all taken care of. You don't have to worry about the high availability on that. Scripting and tooling. So PowerShell commandlets and Azure CLI can be used to create, mount, and manage Azure file shares as part of the administration of Azure applications. You can create and manage Azure file shares using Azure Portal and Azure Storage Explorer. So some of these things we are going to look at in our coming sessions. Okay. Next one is resiliency. Right. So Azure files have been built from the ground up to be always available. Replacing on-prem file shares such as NAS and other file share devices, you can actually get rid of them, right? So you don't have to worry about all those additional setup that you would require to set up those things, right? Familiar programmability. Applications running in Azure can access data in the share via file system IO APIs. Developers can therefore leverage their existing code and skills to migrate existing applications, right? So these are some of the benefits that Azure File Storage provides. Now let's have a practical look at what happens. So when you have a file share, right, you can actually mount on a server which is on-prem or on a server which is on cloud, right? You can seamlessly access the same data across both the places, right? Yeah, so you don't have to worry about the operating system or the local file share network. You don't have to worry on that. It will automatically sync up, right? Because it's all located on a central location, right? Great. So these are some of the links by which you can actually learn some more information on Azure. All right. I think that's all we have to cover for this session, and I believe that you guys are going along quite nicely and learning quite a few things, right? Great. I would suggest you to subscribe on the channel and click on the bell icon to get notified on the real time. And if you're liking these videos, please do go ahead and click on the like button. Thank you. Until next time, keep watching and keep learning.